Hello and welcome back to the Low to High podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John Sullivan, and I'm here today with my co-host, Ann Evans. Say hi to the people, Ann.
What's up, everybody?
Our guest for this episode is my friend since high school and one of the people who always loved the sport as much as I did, Valeria Lomoglio. Valerie plays at NAIA Keiser on the women's team and was part of the regular season conference championship team in 2019. Val, how are you today?
Hi guys, I'm great. Here in the Florida sun.
Yeah.
All good.
When
it's so.
When do you go to campus?
I got here on Saturday, but Kaiser made new dorms because there's so many new people coming in, and they had an inspection on Thursday and they failed it because of an antenna that wasn't working. So all the people that were gonna move into the new dorms cannot move in for 2 more weeks. So I'm staying at my teammate's apartment right now.
Oh Lord, that's yeah, I'm also partially homeless right now. My apartment flooded, so I'm staying with a friend too. Yeah, I understand that. That's always fun. That's a good way to start the school year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, perfect. My coach is she called us and she's please Zoom tune in into a Zoom call in 10 minutes. We're okay. She's okay, so you guys can't move in tomorrow because they're not ready. And we're oh cool, it's perfect.
Love
that's awesome.
All right.
Yeah, we loved it.
So now that we have the intros out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into some questions. Let's start with where you grew up and what childhood was like for you.
Okay, so I was born in Venezuela, which is in South America. And when I was 7, I moved to Italy because my dad's Italian. He was let's just switch it up. So we moved there. And then when I was 12, I moved to Louisiana, and that was A.
Yeah.
And then when I was 6, we were the cold is just not for us. So we moved to Miami. And just moving so much, it's fun obviously because you get to meet new people and learn new cultures and stuff like that and languages. But it's also you I can't say I have those friends that I've known for 20 years because I've never lived in the same place for a long time. So I think nowadays that taught me to be very flexible and just accepting of everyone and their stories and who they are. But yeah, it was a wild ride.
Yeah, I got to know you when you came to Memorial. I knew your brother Seabass. Shout out you, Sebastian, if you ever listen to this. But yeah, and so Val, I think you were a freshman my junior year, right? I was in Seabass's grade, yeah. Yeah, you were a freshman my junior year, and she just had such a love for lacrosse. It was awesome to see because the women's team was just starting there, and you can tell a little more about that. The men's team had been around for 4 or 5 years when I got there, but the women's team was pretty much just starting, I think, your freshman year, or if not, it had been 1 year.
Yeah, so our friend Abby is the one that made the team, actually. I think she's played her whole life, and she was the ice hockey team when Memorial still had one, and she was you know what, I want to play lacrosse. So she made the team, I think, the year before I got to Memorial. So, and it was only JV. So the first varsity year was my freshman year. And that was actually my first time ever hearing about lacrosse or playing lacrosse. Lacrosse in Italy is not a thing. And my friend Caroline was Val, come to the meeting. And I said, I have no idea what lacrosse is, never seen it. What's a stick? What is all of that? And I went to the meeting and Abby was Val, you should really do it. It's so much fun. So then I started going to practices and I loved it immediately. I was this is something I really like and I really want to do for years on out. So, and here I am, still doing it.
Tell us a little bit about your experience throughout high school lacrosse and what your favorite memory from that time period was.
So with high school, I went to 3 different high schools because I moved around. So my first 2 years was at Memorial, and it was super fun. The coaches were pretty much brand new to the sport themselves. So it was very much a learning experience for everyone. But we had our big rival was Castle. It was another public school by our And I think my favorite memory from my years at Memorial was finally beating Castle. That was a big deal, and it was the best. It was a game at Memorial. It was the best day ever. And then I moved to Florida, and that's when I first started doing travel lacrosse. And I was so shocked. I was this is a whole new level of playing. And my favorite memory there was just like meeting players that were just so much better, and they like pushed me to be a better player. And I think that really helped me a lot. Like now, like I learned things I use now in college lacrosse.
Yeah, so not to take away from Southern Indiana, but the level of skill wasn't like it just wasn't there yet. And I mean, from
Yeah.
what I know about the players who are playing now, like they really do put their work in and they're trying to make
Yeah.
it a lacrosse area. And I mean, Bossy even has a team. I saw that the other day on Twitter. Did you see that? Like they had Bossy
Yeah.
has a team. I don't know, and it's a women's team. I didn't even know they had a women's team, and that's so cool to see. I followed them immediately. I was like, this is awesome. I really
Yeah.
like that Evansville lacrosse is growing because it was it was a big city for Southern Indiana. It was the big city. Yeah, and so I mean we had most of the high schools in the area right there, and
Yeah.
it was sometimes a struggle to get a team together for a big high school, and it's awesome to see that now they're really pushing forward in the growth of the sport,
Yeah.
and even the team that didn't have a men's team when I was there has a women's team now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like now I know like one of the players that we play against now, she goes to Georgetown. She used to go to Castle, and like I think Evansville finally has a travel for girls. Like people don't have to drive up to like Indy to play travel lacrosse anymore, which is so cool.
Yeah, I had to drive at first because I-69 wasn't finished yet. So when
Yeah.
so like my sophomore, not junior year, when I did my first fall of travel lacrosse, I had to drive the
Mhm.
4 hours up to practice for an hour and a half, and then I would go stay with a friend in Bloomington because practice was at night, and then I would drive home the next morning, the next 2 hours, and it was like this is a lot of work for travel lacrosse.
Dedication,
Yeah,
really.
but so what's your pregame meal and routine like? And you got any superstitions?
So for meals when we're not traveling, we usually like I go to the calf and eat some like rice, some chicken, a little bit of salad here and there. Usually in the mornings I always eat a bagel. Every time I have a game, I have to eat a bagel. And when we travel, we usually go to Panera. That's like our coach's favorite spot to go to. So some mac and cheese, some bread, really loading up the carbs. Um, and for pregame rituals, I in high school I used to always wear the same blue Nike headband every game, every time. In college, not really. Like I think like my go-to hairstyle is always like the high pony with my headband always. Like I always do that. Like I have to. Like I cannot wear a bun. Like I don't care if my hair like sticks to my neck. I have to wear a ponytail very high up with my headband tied like underneath my ears, and that's my go-to one. Like I have to every time I play.
That's
Look good, play good. Yeah.
yeah, that's funny. I literally had a blue Nike headband that I would wear every game day in high school
Yeah.
too. And if I didn't, I would play so bad, I swear.
Yes. So,
So, tell us what the recruitment process was like and how you finally settled on Keiser.
so for me, playing in college in like Italy is not a thing. So when I came to the U.S. and like got into lacrosse like seriously, that's when like my coach at Memorial was like, "Val, like you shouldn't like look into colleges." And the very first time I talked to a coach was after an All-Star game my freshman year. And I was just very overwhelmed because like I didn't know anything about like college sports. Like I knew they were a thing, but I just never thought of myself being a college athlete. So I started talking to some coaches after that game, and then my sophomore season came up, and I got emails from like small schools, like bigger schools, but it was like very overwhelming. And my coaches were like really new to it too, so they could not really help at all. And then I finally got to Florida, where like my travel team had like big recruits in the past. So I was like, okay, like these people can really help me. And so my junior and senior year, I went to this like big recruiting tournament. It's called President's Cup in Orlando. And that's when I started getting like actual emails, like talking to coaches, meeting them and like talking to them, then talking to my coach. And then like the first time I actually sat down and like started talking money and stuff was senior year. And like the game, I was talking to U Albany for a little bit, and then that didn't work out. And then my high school coach, he knows my coach here, just like Val, it's like a small school. Like you'll know everyone. Your professors will help you out. It is NIA, and like when he first said it, I was like, whoa, like I want to, I want to go D1. But then I looked into it, and I was like, honestly, like they give you money. It's very competitive, and like we do play D2 schools. We like do the whole traveling, the whole like NIA is like the perfect match for someone that like comes from like smaller. Like we went to a really small school, so that's like how I like my education, like smaller, like more personal, and just I loved my school right away. It's in a really good location, like the people, my team. It was just like that. This is a school I want to go to, and so I finally came here.
That's cool. Yeah, we you and I had a very similar high school experience. I moved after my freshman year to Evansville and got there after a year and a half of playing here in North Carolina and seeing what lacrosse was, played at a high level. At least in 2012, what was a high level for North Carolina lacrosse. And then I moved up there, and our coach had never even like seen the game until 3 years before, when a bunch of football players said, "Coach, we want to hit people with sticks. How can we get this team going?" And so like that's truly the roots of Evansville lacrosse. It's awesome, and it's just the football guys wanted something to do other than baseball in the spring, and they realized there was a sport out there where you can whack other guys, and they were just like, "Coach, let's get this going." And so you and I had a pretty similar background there, and then also the small school thing. It shows in where I ended up too. I went to Illinois Wesleyan to start with. I was there for a semester, and then I moved back with my family to here. And both of Illinois Wesleyan was small at the time, and that was 3,000 students, and Peace has like 1,200. So I literally halved it, and it was a great experience because my mom is sick currently, and Peace was just able to really help me out with making sure my priorities were right, and they weren't forcing me to like take on too much at once, considering my situation. Like they were really helpful and flexible. And my fiance went to UNC, and she said it doesn't happen there. It's just like, well, you're one of a number, and you have to get it done. And so there's definitely something to be said for the small school thing. But so you mentioned Albany. If there was anywhere else you could have gone besides Keiser, what was like your second choice? And tell us a little about what you liked there too.
So Albany, I really liked it, but the one thing, like one of the few things that like made me not choose it was like really up north, really far away from my family, and it was just like not really my vibe. Like the whole, it's a huge school. I was also talking to some schools in Denver and like Colorado and those places like that. They were good schools. They were like really cool. Like the coaches were always super nice, super like understanding. But like obviously like when you play a sport, like you want to be the best. So like I want to go D1, like I have to. I'm very competitive, so I was like, I have to go D1. But then my high school coach like actually like sat me down. I was like, Val, like you have the skills, but I don't think you're like ready. And I was like, okay, I mean you're right. And so he's like, I mean at least try it for 2 years and then you can transfer. And I'm here, junior year, still here because I just loved it way too much. Like leave.
Absolutely, and I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I came here thinking like I wasn't gonna stay for my entire college career. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna test the waters. It's a small school. I may not like it, and I'm still here. Like I love it.
Just kidding.
My team is my family, and like the whole school, like we're all just like one big family. Like I know everyone, all my professors, we're all best friends.
And he'll just show up at my door sometimes for dinner, and I'm like, all right, it's family dinner night.
Yep. That is facts. So you play in the NAIA. What were the types of things you took into consideration, like when you were deciding to play in the NAIA?
So the very first thing I think every college athlete like thinks about it's like money, and NIA like would think like they don't have that much, like it's smaller, it's pretty much brand newish. But when I was talking to my coach when like my senior year, I like learn about like how much money they actually have and like how much they help you out. She like I also learned like most NIA schools are pretty like small, and you like get to have that connection with your coaches. We have a D1 transfer that she came to our team last year. And she was telling us how like her coach is like they don't have a personal connection with their coach. Like my coach is literally like she's strict like on the field, but as soon as she steps into her office, she becomes your family. Like you go in there, you talk about anything and everything. They don't judge. They won't like hold it against you like on the field. It's like your second mom. Like our coaches know everything and they will never ever like judge you or not have your back. Same thing with like everyone on the team or like in the school, because like you said, you know everyone. Which at first I was like, oh, like this, I don't want to like be like high school again. But it's honestly like the best thing that could have happened.
It depends on the fit for you. But it really is. I wouldn't ever change the small school experience that I had for a big school one, because ultimately the only thing that Peace doesn't really have that a big school has is a lot of parties. But that's okay because we are athletes and we take our job very seriously.
Yeah.
But so what? I mean, all those are great things, but what eventually just made you decide that the NAIA was like perfect for you? Did you got a scholarship and stuff, and you were just all set up and ready to go? And what are you taking at Keiser? What's your major? And that kind of thing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm an exercise science major, and one of the things that happened when I was talking to other schools, a lot of them didn't have that specific major, and obviously, like, I'm here to get my degree as well, and so Keiser had everything planned out. My academic advisor, she's the best, and she was like, Val, like, this is what you gotta, like, have to take, like, we won't change, like, because the other schools are like, okay, so do sports med, but we'll add some classes, so it's kind of like exercise science, but it wasn't. And so, like, everyone at Keiser was, like, calling me right away, answering my emails right away. My coach was, like, on top of everything. It's just, like, that family feel, like, everyone has your back. And, like, you know, like, you'll, like, whatever you, like, have going through, everyone, like, has your back. Like, for example, last spring, like, this last season, I had to go home. I had to take the semester off. Not once my coach made me, like, feel bad about it. She had my back. She would, like, always text me, like, throughout, like, quarantine and stuff. She's like, how are you doing? Like, I'm so happy to have you back. Like, helping me through it. Everyone at Keiser, like, the advisors and everyone was like, we can't wait to have you back. Because, like, everyone, like, knows you as a family. And, like, that really, I was like, this is what I want and what I need. Especially, like, moving around when I was little so much. Like, I never had, like, that stable, like, one place I wanted to be at. That's, like, the other reason why I haven't transferred. Because, like, for once, I want to go to, like, the school for, like, the length that I'm supposed to be there. So, like, moving away. So, I was like, I'm just staying at Keiser. I just love it way too much.
Have you found that any differences between the level of play and like the level of like care you guys get between NAIA and NCAA teams?
I think the biggest difference is just like the confidence it gives you. Like obviously saying, oh, I play NAIA and say, oh, I play D1 is like a big difference if you don't like know the very specifics of NAIA. I think the biggest thing about why I chose NAIA was that they care about you more than just another athlete on my team that will like score some goals for me, you know? And like I think that's the whole thing about NAIA. Like they care about you as a student, they care about you as an athlete, as a person. Where I think in the NCAA, like as great as they are clearly, it's more of like a business, I think, personally. Like clearly it's still very good. Like they know what they're doing. But, like I just wanted to feel like important, not just like another player for like the next 4 years and then like you're done.
That's got to be a cool thing. I obviously the two of us enjoy starting things. We're at a school that was starting its program. Mm-hmm. We're starting a podcast and a business. Like we like starting things. So that and I considered NAIA when I was in high school.
So did I.
I got a lot of letters from coaches just based on my size. Like they would just see me on the roster. And they'd be like, all right, 6'6", 250 pounds. We should probably send him an email. Like I even talked to one school that the coach was like, look, I got to be honest with you. I think the school won't be here anymore in 2 months. And he was right. The school just went bankrupt. So it was a learning process because, like you said, Southern Indiana, none of the coaches really knew exactly what they were doing yet. And I was lucky enough my junior year towards the end to get with an Indy-based college coach, and he helped me work through some of it. But I was considering NAIA for a while too, for the same reasons you were, like small school, scholarship, all of those good things. And it's always something you should look at. And for the kids who might be listening, that's why we had Val on today, so that she could talk to you about the benefits of not just going with name recognition alone. And that goes for even if you are talking to like Maryland and then also like Bryant and a couple other small schools. Like there's no reason to go to Maryland and be the 45th man on the roster when you could be number one somewhere else. So it's cool that you've gone your own path and didn't just go based on name recognition alone. What's been the most fun part of your experience playing there?
I think traveling is the best thing. I love it. Like we all get to bond because obviously during fall ball, like it's all conditioning. Like our fall ball is like our hard season, like our whole like fall season is very much just lacrosse, lacrosse, lacrosse. Like it's fun, but it's very hard in like classes and everything. So when season comes, it's just like go out there and play. We like obviously still practice and lift, but it's like we get to travel, we get to bond. Like our coach, like every time we go somewhere new, she like finds new places to visit. Like she mixes fun and like lacrosse, which is another good thing about like NIA. Like it's more about like the experience as well. So like I think traveling is like the best thing ever. Like the planes, like waking up early and like it's just the best.
You gotta catch a flight. It's always fun to say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when you and your team are strutting through the airport together, all in like your tracksuits, and you guys just look so fly.
Yeah, everyone's matching like ooh.
Mm-hmm. So what are your expectations going into this next season? Wow.
Start it over. Hold on. To clear the air. Start over.
What are your expectations going into this next season with all of the time that everyone has had away from the game?
Yeah, so my freshman year actually, we made it to nationals and we lost in the semifinals to the team that actually won the whole thing. So this year I just want everyone to get back in the groove. Like I know I've had a whole semester off, but everyone else had a few months and like COVID is still around, so obviously it's like still weird. Like yesterday we had our first team meeting and like all the new rules about COVID and like if someone gets in all that, it's definitely weird now. But I think everyone's just like ready to get back into it, ready to like work harder than we've done before and just really like show people like what we're made of and just get back to nationals and hopefully win it for once for the first time. So I'm really excited.
Sounds like y'all are ready to go, ready to hit the field, start tearing it up, once you can move in. That's exactly. One of the things. We've mentioned a lot of benefits about small schools. One of the things about them is their buildings are usually older and there's usually some sort of thing that you got to put up with. But the rest of it makes up for it, when your teacher knows you by your first name and can literally like open their window to the classroom and yell at you from across campus.
Now, so are you guys doing fall ball like this year, or are you guys just only playing in the spring?
So there's like an acclimation period. So until like the 21st of September, we can only like because everyone's obviously like expecting that no one did anything. So we're doing that. We don't have any fall ball games. Like at first they said we could only play Florida schools. Then they took that away. Because my county, Palm Beach County, we're still in phase 1. And so we can't be playing each other or anything. So we still practicing 5 days a week, lift like 3 days and all that. And we're gonna have like scrimmages between each other, like with the team. So that's like what we're gonna use to get ready for season. Like for the freshmen to get used to it. I think that's like one thing, like it's gonna be weird for them because we always like play like Florida Southern, like all these schools like down here to get them ready and us ready to like for season, and we're not gonna have that. But I think like coaches will like figure it out eventually and like get that ready.
Just make sure you remember the 21st of September. All right, I had to do it because it
started chuckling.
Yeah, we both started laughing as soon as you said the 21st of September. I just wish we had a button that would play the song. I really do right now. That'd be perfect. So rolling on into segments now, this is a men's term, the poke and lift. You poke and then you lift, try and take the ball away. Who's your favorite defensive player of all time and why?
Oh, I think in general, I just love goalies. I think they're like the backbone of every team. I think any goalie for Maryland, they're all my favorites. Like Megan, she's beautiful. Like she's like such a good player. So I think like that she's my favorite. Literally the best player ever.
The next one is called the box score, which is where you highlight your favorite offensive player of all time.
I think mine is Alex Ost. I just like how super just a team player. You can like she's obviously really good. She can go in and score, but she's always like looking up, like seeing playing the field, like evening like it out with like all her teammates. And like I follow her on Instagram and like she does her like yoga things. Like I just think she's a very cool person and an amazing player, like very unselfish and just amazing.
I just saw on Instagram that she like is applying to be a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, and I was like, oh my gosh, sis, go you. Like, she's amazing.
I know, I love her.
Ann and I share the Low to High Pod account, and the amount of, like bikini pictures she posts is going to get me in trouble one day scrolling through. My fiance is going to look over and I'll be like, babe, this is the Lacrosse account. I can't escape it anywhere. It's everywhere on Instagram. It's not my fault. But anyways, the next one is called the penalty box. What is your worst take, like the thing that you get the most crap for saying or thinking or doing?
Oh, let's see. Like in general, like in lacrosse.
Just in general, liking pickles is a terrible idea. I don't know why people do that.
What?
Yeah, fight me. Come at me.
Yeah, come at. I don't like when my cereal gets soggy, so I don't like pour my milk inside like into my cereal. I like grab it and then like I chug the milk like separate. Yeah, no, I just
no. Oh no.
I don't yeah, it's so I've always done it. Always.
I don't even know what to say.
You think you know a person? Good Lord. We never would have had you on if you had revealed this previously.
You should put that like in your bio.
Yeah.
Ask me how I eat cereal. That should just be like your bio.
Really?
That's awesome. That's one of the better takes that we've had on here, because there have been some good ones, but I like that. That's a good one.
Our next segment is the late and high. What was your worst penalty?
Oh.
That's either been done to you or you've done.
Okay, that's been done to me. Okay, can't lie. This girl like broke my ankles. And after it, I didn't like fight her, but like it was in high school, so I kind of went like that, like when I was getting up, and she like kind of went to like kind of step over me. I was like, oh hell no! So I tripped her. Yeah, it was real bad.
Well, she thinks she's Allen Iverson. What is this, huh?
I was like, ew.
Yeah.
She was real tall.
Yeah, you and I both know Big Mo, the penalty queen from Memorial. You remember she would get like one every time she jogged onto the field. It was just, yeah. I think she just played so that she could take out the aggression that I caused her during class.
Yellow card.
Yeah.
There's one of those on every team, though.
Yeah. There's got to be an enforcer.
Of course.
So the next one is the moonshot, which would be your worst shot that you have ever taken in a game.
Oh, okay. So senior year of high school, I was a captain, and like I got the hype. It was like a very important game. So I got an 8-meter shot, and I was like ready, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna go in. So like when you first start playing, like I guess for like girls, and you like put your stick way too back and the ball rolls off.
Oh no.
Freshman day, yeah, senior year. My coach was like, "What, Val? Come on!" And I was like so embarrassed. Everyone was like not expecting it. I just like looked at it. I was like, I really just did that.
Yeah, that made me think of. Yeah, I said previously my worst was like where I brought it back and just let it fly into the stands that were next to me.
Oh.
But yeah, because I had recently strung it with wax mesh and a high pocket, and it was on my pole, so it just literally stayed all the way through, and then it released like right there into the stands. But I think now you reminded me of one that was also really bad where I just brought it back so far that I let it roll out until it was on like the tip of the head. And then I went to launch it. It was literally like a catapult. It just went straight up and everyone was like, how did you even, the physics don't make sense.
Man,
I was like, I don't know.
You just got to stop shooting.
I do. I need to stop shooting. When I do shoot well, you know, it goes pretty fast, but there's too many failures to count.
So we're going to go ahead and move on to questions about you in general. So what are some of the hobbies you have outside of lacrosse?
Besides tanning, Val.
Yeah. Oh my God, I tan all the time. So, literally. I love new languages. Clearly, I've had to learn new ones. So I'm always like looking up like new words, new like sounds. Like when I like listen to a lot of like foreign music. So I'm like, I wonder what they're saying. So like look it up. I'm like, okay, I like still don't understand, but like at least I know what they're saying. I'm always looking up like news like words and like sentences and stuff like that, and like other language like random ones. I'm like Mandarin. I'm like, okay, yeah.
I'm staying with a Chinese family right now, and they speak Mandarin in front of me, and I'm always like, yeah, I know you're making fun of me. I don't think they are, but you know, it's funny because his mom will say, she'll be in the middle of an English conversation with me, and then she'll just look at him and snap something in Mandarin, and he'll be like, all right, sorry. I love it. It makes me laugh every single time. I really want to learn a second language so that I can be able to do that to my kids too.
So fast. Like sometimes I'm just like with my like family or my parents, and like I like have friends over, and we just like switch back and forth. Like we mostly speak Spanish at home, but like sometimes we just put in Italian if I don't remember a word. Like it just comes out naturally. And like I have friends that speak Spanish too, and they're like, dude, I don't know what you're saying. I'm like, it's just like a mix between like English, Spanish. It's like it's messy.
It's just every language you speak all at once.
Yeah, literally.
Come on, people, keep up. It's Balinese.
Come on.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Balinese, yeah, you can coin that for yourself. So what's your favorite like current TV show, and then also just overall favorite of all time?
Current, which is very basic, it's Grey's Anatomy, but it's because in high school everyone was like watching. I was like, okay. It's like I like medicine and stuff, but I just did not like it back in high school. And like I gave it another try during quarantine. I was like, I'm obsessed.
Oh no.
And Criminal Minds, best show ever.
That's a good show.
I used to come home from school every day and watch it, like in middle school, which I probably shouldn't have been watching it then, but
yeah.
It scared me in middle school. There was one where there was a guy who had some mental issues, and he had a pig farm, and he would feed the people to the pigs. That one scared me. That one gave me a nightmare as a child. Like it legitimately gave me nightmares.
Literally.
Every time we have a meeting though about the podcast, we have forensics files in the background.
Yeah.
I used to watch that show. My senior year of high school, I took a forensics class, and like our homework was to watch. And like I just kept watching and watching and watching. Mom was like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "I'm just upset."
My mom and I always listen to it on the radio, like on our road trips.
It's so good.
It'll teach you how to not get away with crimes, because it just appears you can't. It seems as though they catch everyone.
Yeah, just don't do anything bad. I guess you already said what the weirdest food item you like is.
Yeah.
So
what's your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I stole Anne's question.
Stole my question. Wow.
Go ahead, Anne. Ask again.
What's your favorite food item?
Definitely pasta, clearly. Just a good like pasta with any sauce just hits right every time. So
I know
good.
your dad can cook. Does he make the pasta himself too?
Sometimes he's extra. He's like, you know what, today I'm feeling it. I'm like, Mario, go right ahead. He's like real proud. Like 4 hours later, he's like, all right. So I'm like, okay, thank God, because I'm starved. I've been waiting for 4 hours. But it's so good, literally amazing.
He sounds like me, a kind of guy who takes his time in the kitchen, but the product is pretty good. So I guess what are you a dog or a cat person? Because I don't remember. Did your family have any pets in high school?
Yeah, so we have a cat, and that's like the first pet I've ever had. Like other than like I had a turtle once and like fish. Yeah, but he's Italian. We brought him over from Italy. That's like my biggest flex because like my cat has a passport for when he like flew on the plane here. Like I always talk about, I'm like, yeah, my cat has a passport. People are like, that's so weird. Like, I mean,
You just that
guys.
you just that much of a flex. You got to
Yeah.
catch a flight. Your cat has a passport. You're tanning by the
Yeah,
pool, and your dad makes pasta for you from scratch. I mean, Val
living
just sounds
life.
like she lives the life.
Honestly.
And it's in Florida too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And West Palm.
Yeah, West Palm.
What's your favorite place in the world that isn't a major city or an obvious choice?
Oh, let's see. We took a family trip to Switzerland once, which I guess is kind of mean, but like not really. It was like a tiny. It was like the famous towns there. Because my brother went like on a skiing trip for a week, and then me and my parents went for the weekend. It was like the most peaceful place, like covered in snow from like everywhere. Like people were so nice, and like they all speak French, like to the part that we went to, and my dad kind of speaks French. That was his flex. He's like, I understand what we're saying. I'm like, okay, okay. But like I want to go back so bad.
Switzerland's on my list. Most of Europe is still on my list. I've been to France and England
Mm-hmm.
and Ireland. Oh, I love me the Irish.
Oh my gosh.
That was the best time. But anyways, yeah, it was. I miss Europe. I want to go back very soon, if they'll let us.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, if they let us come in.
Exactly. All right, so I know your family's always had cool cars. What's your dream car? Because you gotta have one like that you think of.
Oh, I have a few.
I feel like.
My
Hold on,
dream,
can I
like,
guess one?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
G-Wagon.
Yes.
Yeah, every girl wants a G-Wagon.
That's facts.
Every guy wants one too. They're just sick.
Like my first one, like basic one, is like a Jeep Wrangler. Everyone, that's like the poor like the G wagon. That's the first
Yeah.
one. And then I really like the Lamborghini SUV.
Oh,
I
the
don't remember what it's
Urus.
called.
That thing is sick.
And he was like, I want it. I was like, you want to buy it from me? He's like, oh no.
No.
Steve said no.
No, that is that thing's sick. Somebody in Raleigh has one, and it's in like this electric blue color, and it's all blacked out everywhere else. And the the noise it makes is very much Lamborghini, but it's just so smooth watching it go by, and it being so large. It's everything I want, but I also want like an old F-150. So I don't like. I just have no. Yeah, I have no real set car that I want. I tell Ann I want a new car like every week.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get a truck, Ann.
Or I'm gonna put a V8 in my Outback, Ann.
Yeah.
What is one thing that people don't know about you that you haven't already mentioned in this episode?
One thing. Okay, I'm a pretty like loud and outgoing most of the time. Like at practice, I don't know how coach like does not yell at me all the time, but I'm also very like shy. Like if I don't know people, like I'm around new people, I feel like you meet, you're like, oh my god, this girl's like mad weird. Like she does not talk. But then like I get to know you for like 30 seconds. I'm like, okay, you're like my best friend now. So like, people are like, if you don't, like I'm the most shy like introverted person ever, and I'm like, but not really.
I'm
like
literally
surprised.
the exact same way. Like around people I don't know. Oh my gosh, I hate it.
I'm scared. I'm like, oh, don't talk to me.
But around my friends, I'm literally the weirdest person ever.
Ann and I have some fun because we both have like a weird sense of humor where we find certain things hilarious that other people are like, why? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And we're just over there dying. So that's, I think, why we went into business together. So it's kind of a tough question because we're all still young. This is really one of the ones that's for the people who are more established in their careers currently, but I think it's cool nonetheless. What do you want your legacy to be? I guess it can be your legacy at Keiser or just in the lacrosse community when it's all said and done. What do you want your legacy to be?
For now, I think I really wanna, for Keiser at least, as a player, I just want like my team to like win something like important, especially because my team like just got established as well, like 4 or 5 years ago, I think. I just want like my grade and myself to like have something to our name and to like, you know, the class of 22. And in general, I'm trying to like set up for me to try out and hopefully play for the Italian national team. I just think that's really cool. Obviously, like lacrosse in Italy, it's just like non-existent, but it's still like, you know, like something to do, something to talk about, just like do something after college with lacrosse. Like I'm trying to, I really want to like maybe coach in the future and stuff like that. So I think that like that would like really, I would meet really cool people, really good players, because I looked at the roster and like some of the players are from UF. I'm like, okay, respect, that's good. I really want to do that in like the near future.
That's super cool. That's a good ambition right there. One of my friends from Wesleyan played on the Irish U19 team in the World Games, and that was really cool getting to know him. Yeah. He was a really cool guy, but I think I'm just like, because I'm pretty sure it has to be a grandparent or a parent is a citizen of the country. So like my great grandparent was Irish, so I miss it. I can't do Irish. And I was like, man, I'm definitely not good enough for the American team. Yeah, I know. I'm not. But so do you have any social medias or does your team work with any charities or anything that you want to plug here since we're about to close?
Yeah, so well, we do not like a specific one. We always just try to do volunteer every month. But my social media is v.lomoglio on Instagram if you guys want to follow.
Spell it out for the people.
v.lomoglio.
Yes. You will see a lot of tanning. She's always tanning.
Yeah, a lot of soccer too on the stories.
Yeah. She's always posting about soccer, tanning, or being excited to be back at Keiser. So go ahead, follow her if you're interested in any of those three.
All the content.
And
you can follow me on Instagram at evans.cr2 and on Twitter at @theAnnEvans.
You can follow me on Instagram at JohnSullivan20. And now we're going to go ahead and close it out. I think that's going to do it for us today. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your favorite platform to listen to us on. Also, don't forget to follow our social medias at Low to High Pod on Twitter and at Low to High Podcast on Instagram. Additionally, you can now visit our website, www.lowtohighpod.com, where we will be putting up editorial content and selling our merchandise soon. So make sure to keep updated there. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Val, for coming on. It's always good to see you. Yeah.
As always.
And got anything for the people?
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, this is our first video episode.
Yeah.
You can see us now. I actually made sure to trim my beard some so I didn't look homeless on screen. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. You lovely people, have a great day.